If you haven't seen part 1 of what we're doing here, you need to stop right now and click on the link up here and watch how we painted this car with tractor paint and rollers. That's important because A, it's going to explain why the car looks like it does right now, and B, explain why we're doing our best to see if this is a viable budget option for people. So check that out first. Like Zach said, last night we went through and we wet sanded this entire car. And, well, let's see, where did we start? We started right here. And I was getting every last bit of orange peel out of there. It was looking great. And then I started burning through the paint here and here. So we quickly had to adjust our strategy, and we went through and just knocked down about half of the orange peel everywhere on the car so that we could still go back with a buffer and cutting compound and have some material to work with. Hindsight 2020. We should have sanded the car after 4 coats, gotten it smooth, gotten rid of the orange peel, and then put another 2 or 3 coats on top of that and then buffed it. If we did this again, I think that we could get some really, really good results. For now, it's gonna be pretty decent, but given the pointers and tips that we've told you from watching these couple videos, I think that you could have a really nice paint job if you spent more time masking and not, you know, half-assing that like we did. Zach masked. He didn't do a good job. Not good.
I would not consider that half-assed. It must have been good. Bad tape.
Not good.
I think that's painter. I think you, like, when you were rolling it, you, like, lifted the tape up.
I can promise you I didn't do that.
I wasn't here, so I think you did.
So don't reduce the paint. Put 4 coats on, then sand it, then put more coats on. Mask everything really well, and I think you can have a pretty solid paint job. Let's go ahead and fire that buffer up. It's a $50 buffer from Harbor Freight, and we've got some Meguiar's 105 cutting compound and a couple different foam discs, and we're gonna see if we can bring this thing to life. We don't know what we're doing.
I've never used a buffer.
Neither have I. You have to condition the pad first. So you'll go ahead and put your compound on here. That may be a little much. I don't know. And then you want to go through and rub all this in to the pad with your fingers. So that's what it should look like. We're going to let this sit for 5 minutes, and then our pad will be conditioned. Now that we've let the compound sit on the pad for a while, we're going to use compressed air to blow off the excess. That didn't go well.
This dude has a knack for fucking up my cars.
Oh man. You know, before I turned it on, I thought that hose is pretty close. I wonder if this is a bad idea. But I did it anyway. It was a bad idea. The good news is we've already got the first battle scar on the car, so now we don't have to worry anymore. We're gonna start in the middle of the hood because we've got a giant decal to go right there. So we're gonna start somewhere that if we screw this up, that's okay. And make sure you stick around till the end of the video so you can see what this thing looks like with all the decals, the black accents we're doing, and the freshly powder coated wheels.
Doesn't get rid of orange peel.
You want me to keep going?
Well, I mean, this is going under a decal. What do you think?
Might as well.
Nobody ever called us smart. Except Dave Eisman once called us.
That's shiny.
It is shiny. It is definitely still orange peeling. But it's gray, and it's shiny, and it's not red, maroon, silver, yellow. What else was there?
Peeling decals,
Metal,
Bondo, primer.
Lots of different things.
So we're just gonna get after it. We've got a ton of stuff to do before we head to the track tomorrow. So if we run into any oddball things, we'll pull the camera back out and talk about it. But otherwise, we'll see you once this thing's done being buffed. Time for an update. We are exhausted. Turns out buffing a car is a ton of work. I have newfound respect for detailers, but the car is, for the most part, buffed. There's good and bad that comes with that. The bad, there's some areas like this where it bled through. Zach somehow went a little nuts on the back bumper and had some issues there. We've got a pad that has seen much better days, but all that's left is this rear quarter and this door, and it's done. The hood is the worst panel in the whole car, I think, as far as the overall finish is concerned. The header panel, I mean, it looks great. It's not quite a mirror, but damn, it's pretty solid. What we're doing now is masking the front end because we're gonna paint everything that's not masked black. We really needed to paint the inside of where the fog lights and turn signals went anyway, so we thought we'd kind of make a little design here and try to have some black accents, make it a little prettier.
We'll see what it looks like once the decals go on. I think it's gonna, from 5 feet, be pretty good.
Time to pull this masking tape off. See how I did.
Not bad.
I mean, it's a race car. We got to an interesting point tonight where we are at a stopping point. We still have a ton of stuff to do, but we can't do a lot of it because we're waiting for paint to dry on the front, so we can't wash the car. We don't want to put the decals on until we wash the car. We can't put wheels and tires on until we get back to the shop, etc., etc. So Zach and I are sitting here and we've had, you know, more than 1 or 2 beers. And now we're coming up with ideas, so we decided to black out the taillight panel.
I think it's gonna look good.
But anyway, we're gonna find out. So we got the first coat on. We'll put 2 or 3 more on. We'll peel the tape and see what it looks like. The whole car's buffed. We've got, at the end of the video, we're gonna go through our entire experience on the car, what to do, what not to do, what we would change. So yeah, we're gonna wake up in the morning, we're gonna put the decals on, put the wheels and tires on, take some beauty shots of the car, show you what it looks like when it's all said and done,
and go send it.
yeah, and go straight to the track and hopefully not wreck it. It's the next day. We were up until 5 in the morning trying to finish this thing, and here she is. The Boost Brothers budget race car. I think I've lost a few years of my life over the past week trying to get this thing done, but it's as close to done as we can get it right now. It still needs a bath and a couple other little odds and ends, but we got to get it loaded up and get it to the track. Maiden voyage. Our biggest issue at this point is we don't have any mirrors. We painted the mirrors and they turned out like shit, so we're gonna try to get that done and put them on at the track. Really down to the wire here, but the decals all turned out really good. We got our forge lines powder coated, brand new set of Bridgestone RE71Rs. But the reason you're watching this video is the paint. And here's the thing. So there's areas like this on the door that turned out really, really nice. After wet sanding and buffing, really pretty presentable. The hood is probably the worst panel on the entire car, and it has just a ton of orange peel still, even after wet sanding and everything. So we put some stickers on there to hide it. We did some black accents on the front bumper to break things up a little bit. So all in all, it was a pretty successful project. As far as a budget paint job goes, I think it's a really viable option. I actually think it has potential to be super nice. Being our first time, we didn't execute as well as we could. There's some things I would change. We wouldn't thin the paint on the first go around. We would do 3 or 4 coats and we would sand the entire car. and then we would go back and put more coats on the car so that when we wet sanded it, we didn't burn through. But the areas that we did burn through, we just went back last night, or 4 a.m. this morning, and just rolled on a little more paint right there, and it was fine. So, you know, it's not that big a deal. I think overall we probably have, I don't know, $400 invested in the paint job. So we could have just spent $400 and gone to Mako and have them do it, but we also have some new tools that we didn't have before. We now have a DA, we have a buffer, we have a few other odds and ends. So I don't know, it was a fun project, one that for a track car I would 100% do again. Girls, what do you think about us going to the racetrack for the very first time?
Good.
What do you think about that paint job?
Good.
That's it, guys. We still got our work cut out for us. We got to get this thing loaded up and get on the road. Of course, we will be filming everything this weekend, so stay tuned for that video. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.